Hi guys, Omar with Overlanding Just Cause, and I am attempting to install the ARB dual compressor. It's gonna go in this area right here. I got a Ragu fabrication mount, and I spent all day yesterday trying to figure out how to kind of set everything up. I know you see a lot of stuff here, but focus on this. This is what I have going on so far, right? So this is the Ragu fabrication mount. We've got the ARB dual compressor right here. I've got the manifold right here. And what I decided to do was I took a piece of aluminum. Let me see if I can turn it over. I took a piece of aluminum, did a little measuring, did a little cutting, drilling, put these bolts through it. And then this mount right here came with the switch panel. It's pretty steady. I had this thing going the other way so that it's right here. I mean, I've configured this in every possible way. I did all this yesterday. Yesterday was pretty much the planning and the plan of attack type phase. I did mess with this because I wanted to kind of configure everything how I wanted. I got the idea of putting the manifold on this piece of the Ragu fabrication mount from Daniel. His channel is Lexus Off-Road Adventures. Great channel. He's got an awesome build, an awesome GX build. And I was able to send him a message on that video where he mounted everything, and I asked him if he were to do it all over again, would he put it in the same spot? Because I was debating whether I wanted to put it right there just like he had it. And he said other than the installing portion of it, trying to fit your hands back there and underneath to get wires and stuff, he said other than that it works great. I'm grateful that he responded back to me and let me know. So thank you, Daniel. Shout out to you and your channel, man. And yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm not getting the lockers just yet, but they're gonna be ready for lockers once I do get it. The other thing I did was I set up the wiring. So I've got power going here. I've got the negative. Put these on, put the heat shrink on. So everything is ready to go. I ran it, bundled it up here because I didn't want to do any cutting. So it's wrapped up here, and then the access is over here. And then it comes around and it's right here standing by for when I mount it. The other piece, the other wire loom that it came with is gonna go to the switch panel. This end will go into the ARB compressor. These will just be standing by for now. These are for when I get air lockers. And then the other side, there's actually 4 wires. I wrapped up the other 2 just in case I need them in the future. I didn't cut them. But I've got a purple, which is essentially the red wire, and I've got the black, which is ground. And these are gonna go into the switch panel. Another again, thanks to Daniel. I watched his video and figured out how he did that. So there it is. Now, I've got this set up exactly how I want it. I got everything tight, Loctite on the bolts, and the rest of this video is going to be actually installing it in, running wires, and hoping that it works. So let's do this. All right, this has got to be one of the most frustrating installs I have ever done in my whole entire life, and it will probably stay at #1 for the rest of my life. This sucked. And Daniel from Lexus Off-Road Adventures told me it was gonna suck. I mean, he even says it in his video. Tight quarters, I've seen other videos where they tell you to mount the ARB to the platform first. Well, I had the leg that's down there and the platform and the ARB, I had everything set up. Well, I put it in, I couldn't reach those bolts down there for the leg. And it was moving a lot. Even though this over here, these two bolts were very secure, it still moved a bunch. So I tried for probably, I'm not even kidding, maybe 2 hours. Then once I got done and frustrated with that, I took it off, took the leg off, or took the compressor off, took the leg off because you can't do it without taking the compressor off, and then put the leg on, and then tried to put the plate on the leg, which I was successful doing, but then I couldn't put the ARB compressor on the platform, on the mount. Couldn't reach back there, couldn't reach back, well, I could reach on this side, but this one and this one I could not. And I wanted the 4 bolts on there to hold this bad boy steady. So what I ended up doing, and I didn't record any of this because I almost threw the ARB in that trash can right there. It's not even my trash can, but I probably would have thrown my phone in there too if I kept recording. What I ended up doing was I mounted it, the leg, I mounted the ARB to the platform, and then I mounted 1 bolt, was all I was able to get, 1 bolt into the leg, and then I just bolted this side up right there. So I'm missing, I bolted 1, I'm missing 2 more mount to leg, and that's it. I mean, I think that's pretty good. I'll keep an eye on it for the next couple of weeks as I drive around to see if anything makes noise or shifts or whatever the case, but man, super frustrating. Very tight quarters. Daniel said it in his video when he installed it to his GX, and he was not lying. The way it's set up, I've got a manifold back here in this corner, that's good to go. The ARB, that's good to go. And then this right here, my my aux beam switch panel. I even had to take the cover off the fuse box to see if I had, like, it gave me an extra centimeter, which is great. All right, now that's mounted, it's not going anywhere. What I'm gonna do next is clean up the wires, connect it, and take a nap. This is the moment of truth. All right, so let me explain what I have. Here's the breaker, or the fuse for the compressor, negative going to the negative right here. I've got the actual switch, instead of going through the firewall, it's going to the aux beam, purple and black, purple being positive, black being ground. I've connected everything else as far as the aux beam lights, connected those back up. And then back here, so there's the power, the ground, going to the battery. That's the main connection. And then the connection to the switch panel, I actually bundled up and put it underneath all this, zip tied it. And then here I have the manifold, so I have air coming through here to the manifold. Here's where I hook up the hose to fill up tires. Moment of truth. I've spent all day doing this, and 90% of it was actually mounting it. Very hard because of the space, or maybe I just didn't have a good plan or didn't think of something, but it was pretty difficult for me. So anyway, I'm gonna turn this bad boy on, see what happens. Hopefully the car won't blow up. I don't hear any leaks. So the fact that it keeps turning on like that is telling me that maybe there's a leak somewhere. All right, guys, so fast forward a few days, and it kept going off. I told you there might be a leak. I couldn't hear a leak. There was a leak. I took a spray bottle, soap and water, started spraying all the fitments, and sure enough, it was leaking. Anyway, I fixed it. Since then, I have made a couple changes, right? So let me show you what I've done. I've actually done a chuck relocation. So originally, my air was coming out of here. The chuck was right here. Well, what I ended up doing was I went to Lowe's and I got an elbow fitting, 1/4 inch NPT. I bought a hose from Amazon, and the hose was exactly like this one. If you go to ARB and purchase a relocation kit, it actually comes with a steel hose. And well, I didn't get a steel hose, I got a rubber hose. So I ended up putting this loom on there, same loom that I use for the wire, and I ran it through here, through the back of the fuse box, behind the battery. Let me move this. In through here, you can actually see it here. It's not touching any metal. And this comes close. I have to put another zip tie here, because what I don't want is this loom to start rubbing and then it rubs against the actual hose, which is rubber, and now I have a leak. But I relocated it all the way through here, and now I have my chuck here. So now when I need to use it, I don't have to open up this hood. Before I close it to show you how that works, let me just kind of go over the parts again. I didn't want to make 2 separate videos, and I wasn't happy with the ending of the first video. So yeah, to kind of piggyback off that, I know you've heard me say it a couple times already, extremely hard to mount, but I got it on after a bunch of hours of just moving stuff around, trying to figure it out. Steel plate coming up, drilled holes to extend out, and then plus this mount. This has not budged in the few days. Actually, it's been more than a few days, but this has not budged. I'm happy with it. I've been watching it. The manifold, I've got the hose going to that back piece coming out this way, and then to the chuck that runs around the front. So let me go ahead and turn it off. I ended up purchasing this. It's a digital reader on Amazon. ARB sells one for 70 bucks. I got this for 30. It's cobalt, and this here this side. There. Now let's turn it on. Now when it turns on, it'll run for a little bit longer, only because it needs to fill up not only the extension here, but then this hose here. This turns on. And the air compressor stops once it's primed up and full. There it goes. All right, so it tells me what the pressure is right now, running 33.5 PSI. I can put air in it, and then when I let go of the trigger, 35.8. This one also has a deflator, so let's say I want to deflate my tires or I go a little too high, I can deflate it. When I let go, it tells me the current PSI on there, 35. Let's keep it at 35. And then I release. So there it is, guys. Extremely happy with it. I like the mount, I like the setup. It was really hard, but hey, I got it done. Having the chuck here didn't last long. After like a day, I was like, you know what? I bet you I can extend it out. I like how guys relocate it. At first, originally, I thought about relocating it here, but when you get the relocation kit, which I did not get, it comes with a smaller diameter chuck. I didn't want to purchase another one. I'm using the original one that it came with. It didn't fit in this area right here, number one. And number two, it's a lot lower, which, you know, obviously if I'm crossing water, I don't really want it to get wet. I mean, it can get wet, but I'd rather it not. So a little bit higher is always good. Let me turn it off. Bleed the hose out. And then release the chuck. So what I really like about this is that it's very low profile. It's not sticking out. It just looks like it's part of the build. And again, I don't have to open up the car to use the air. I can just hit the button on the switch panel, grab my hose, boom. The other thing I got was this cheap bag. It was like less than 15 bucks on Amazon. I got a tire repair kit. This deflator came with the whole kit set up, twin dual air compressor that I got. So this will stay in the back of the car along with the hose. And yeah, so that's the setup, guys. That's the end of this video. So it's kind of two videos combined. Like I said, I didn't like how the other one ended. I did have a little leak. I fixed that, and then I made the extension for the air chuck to come out the front. I like this spot versus lower on the car. And that's it. That wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I will respond. And yeah, let me know what you guys think, guys. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.